mindcoolness.com. If you want to boost your willpower, try to change your breathing rate by mindfully breathing faster or slower. Depending on the situation. Here's why. Last year I conducted a psychophysiological experiment at our Department of Anthropology to find an answer to the question, how does breathing affect willpower? The experimental design was quite simple. I had 50 subjects, mostly college students of the age of 18 to 33, walk slowly on a treadmill, with 2 TV screens in front of it. In the first part of the experiment, subjects had to perform a breathing exercise that was displayed on the screen in front of them, while the other screen was turned off. One group of participants had to breathe really slowly, while the second group had to breathe fast. After the breathing exercise, subjects were instructed to keep their attention focused on this very screen to the left, from their point of view. Now, however, a set of very exciting, attention-grabbing video clips was shown on the other screen, but subjects were not allowed to look over there. They had to control themselves and their attentional impulse to not get distracted. They had to keep looking at a screen in front of them that showed a boring screensaver with slowly changing colors. After 5 video clips, the breathing exercise was repeated. Again, slow breathing for group 1, fast breathing for group 2. And finally, a second distraction task with another set of again 5 quite disturbing video clips. By the way, the sound always came from the distractor screen, and the camera on top of that screen video recorded our subjects throughout the experimental process so that we could later analyze their gaze behavior to see how often and for how long they got distracted and glanced over at the forbidden screen. While all of this was going on, 2 experimenters, typically a colleague and I, were sitting behind a host of computers and measurement equipment to record our participants' heart rate, respiration, and whole body movement. Yeah, our participants had a lot of cables attached to them, 20 to be precise. Here you can see how it looked like in reality, a subject walking on a treadmill equipped with, various sensors. And this is from the subject's point of view. A screensaver to the left and the distractor screen on the right hand side. Again, subjects had to look on the left but never to the right. And this is not as easy as you would think. In fact, not a single one of my 50 subjects managed to never get distracted. Some were good, others not so good, but no one could entirely resist to glance over at the other screen. Now, what were my results? As you can see in this graph here, subjects who were breathing slowly during the breathing exercise got distracted less often than the fast breathing subjects of the second group. And as you can see here, slow breathing subjects also got distracted for a shorter overall period of time as compared to subjects in the fast breathing group. What this means, according to the terminology I used in my study, is that slow breathing leads to less distraction, which means more willpower, whereas fast breathing leads to more distraction, thus less willpower. Now, does this mean that slow breathing is superior to fast breathing? Maybe. In the experimental context, yes. But you have to consider that subjects were walking slowly on a treadmill. This put them in a specific physiological state, which was probably quite congruent with the slow breathing. If subjects were running, on the other hand, or in a different situation altogether, with a different underlying physiological state, maybe then the fast breathing exercise would have been the more beneficial one. I don't know, or at least it can't be concluded from this experiment. However, what can be concluded is that whenever a situation demands self-control, or at least attentional self-control, you might find it helpful to mindfully modulate your breathing rate. Experiment with this on your own, under various circumstances. Whenever you're feeling stressed, anxious, or tempted to cheat on your diet, focus on your breath and breathe slower or faster, whatever works for you in your unique situation. Because what my study clearly does show is that breathing rates definitely has an impact on our willpower. Of course, this video was only a rough and extremely simplified description of what my experiment was about. If you're interested in learning more about all the other results, about the theoretical framework or the technical details of my study, check out my article on mindcoolness.com by simply clicking the link in the description. Yeah, that's it.